Everybody, welcome to Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things, and welcome to Wednesday, January 26th. It's cold outside, folks, as they would say back in December. Baby, it's cold outside. If you like the cold, some people do, some people don't. I remember as a kid, people said, me and my wife were talking about this earlier today. We're talking about going to school. Kids had to wait in the corner for the school bus because the weather was cold, so they closed the schools. That didn't happen too much when I was a kid. My mother made me walk to school no matter how cold it was. And they didn't close the schools like they're closing them now. It's a whole different world, it seems, out there. You notice that too, folks? Yeah. Anyway, stay warm. Have some fun. Anyway, we have a great show for you guys today. First of all, I want to thank you all for sending in your letters and watching the show every day. And the format hasn't changed. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have guests. Tuesday is a call-in day. You guys can call in. You can ask me anything you want. And, of course, Thursday, my lovely wife and co-host, Laura Ocean's my co-host on Thursday. She'll be with us tomorrow. So a lot of great things going on, folks. Here's the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, to give us a call at 847-769-8609. It's Wednesday, the 26th of January. Already almost a month of January is gone into the new year of 2022, or as some people would say, the year 1939. Show us your papers. Where are your papers? Yeah. Anyway, I know it gets sick and get boring, but that's just a fact. But I'm glad you guys are watching. Now, folks, don't forget every show is dedicated to the first responders, the doctors, the nurses, the firemen, the policemen, the teachers, the farmers, but mostly it's dedicated to people like you who watch the show every day. We got a great show lined up for you today. Showtime Joe Rousey will be our guest today. I've known Joey many, many, many years, and you can hear him ring announcing at Bobby Hitt's boxing events. MMA, man, very cool with that. Fight card entertainment. A lot of stuff with pro wrestling. We're going to talk about a little wrestling. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about him when he was working with Jerry Springer, who used to come see me all the time at Jilly's, and boy, was he always in a good mood. So I'm sure Joey's got some great stories, and we're going to bring him on very shortly. Now, guys, don't forget, this week, look what we got coming up tonight. We'll be at Rosario's in Roselle, 7:30 showtime with my good buddy, of course, Jeff Dubray. Tomorrow we'll be at River Cafe. And we are going to be, that's in River Grove with Jimmy Marchese and the crew. Jerry Jams, that's tomorrow night. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg with Jerry Jams. Saturday, Capri in Willow Springs with Daryl Armenstad and Lisa P. And then Sunday, January 30th, we'll be at the Old Orchard Country Club Rat Pack show, Ocean's Rat Pack. Bill Saratella's Frank Sinatra, Elliot Winbush's Sammy Davis, yours truly. That's at the Old Orchard Country Club this Sunday. Now, dinner's at 5, 6:30 as the show. Ticket information, there's still a few seats left, folks. 847-593-8181 and get your ticket to see Ocean's Rat Pack. A lot of fun. Let's talk about some of our sponsors. Eco Solar Solutions till the end of the month. Our good friends Eco, 630-345-2964. Let's not forget Trico Hair Experts out of Rosemont, Illinois. I'm going to go see them actually at 2 o'clock today. Anthony and Carmela, they're right out of Rosemont, folks. Give them a call. Recreating Good Hair Days, 773-999-7888. Don't forget, folks, check us out on Twitter, as well as going all the way to subscribe to us on YouTube. Everything on the bottom of the screen will give you all the information you need to know. How about Don Esteban Cigars out of Tarpon Springs, Florida? You get these hand-rolled babies sent right to your home, man. Call them up and tell them I want the Tony Ocean specials. Javier will take care of you. 727-366-7536. Let's not forget our good friends from Airtight Windows. Now, folks, it's cold outside, and the cold is going in. If you have old beat-up windows, your house is going to get cold. So this is the perfect time to call Airtight Windows, siding and specialist, family-owned for the last 30 years for honesty and quality. Do it right with Lou Airtight. Give Lou a call at 708-788-5000. Let's get one more underway. Deutsch Power Center, construction and diesel industry for the last 100 years. Call my buddy Sal at 224-276-6550. They're right out of Elgin, Illinois, for all you guys in the construction and diesel industry. All right, so Showtime Joe Rousey's coming up, folks, very shortly. So let's go to work, everybody. Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. Let's go.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. And now, your host, Mr. Tony Ocean.
Thank you, Nelson, and thank you guys for tuning in every day. We really appreciate it. I love all the letters and stories that you sent to us. And you know what? It's like some of the stuff I could say, some of the stuff I'm allowed to say, but you know me, I will say it anyway. So if you want a story to be told or you want something, just give it to me. I will tell you the story. Anyway, we want you to make sure that you check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609. Now, let's tell you real quick about the little Florida tour that we got coming. Starting on the 11th of March, you'll be at the Venice Community Center. Windy City Boys Alive, yours truly, along with Greg Reaney, Friday, March 11th at the Venice Community Center. It's a beautiful place. We're excited about that. And then later on in the week, actually, people say, when are you going to go to Arizona? Well, we will be in Arizona, folks, on March 17th through the 20th. We're performing on the 18th and 19th at Chicago West Fest. On the 18th, we'll be at Mesa, Arizona, and on the 19th, we'll be at Chandler, Arizona. Chicago West Fest is a big festival with Chicago food, Chicago talent in Arizona, hosted by former quarterback of the Chicago Bears when they were good for 1 year only. Super Bowl champs, of course, Jim McMahon will be the host, and it's going to be a lot of fun there in Arizona, keeping ourselves warm. Going back to Casa Loma Ballroom. I love this place in downtown St. Louis. We'll be there on April 24th on a Sunday with the Rat Pack. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of great stories, a lot of good stuff, and very important. You need to go out and support that local establishments and, of course, live entertainment, because that's what it's about. So we have a lot of guests now. Like what people have been on the show from all over, politicians, sports guys, celebrities, of course, entertainers, and the everyday guy out there, because the show is about the everyday guy. You know, you go out there and everybody says, well, everybody's got a certain talent and everybody has something they want to say. And I think everybody wants to learn about what kind of jobs these people have and what they do and what it's like doing what they do. I mean, it's cool if you want to talk to a celebrity what his life is, but everybody that I have on my show is their own celebrity, because it's their show, it's their thing. And that's why I like it. And I especially like it when I have local guys on who bust their butt to get to wherever they're trying to get, you know. And then, of course, we have people from out of state. We have the great spokesmodel, red carpet host and radio, Melissa D. Gordon, was on from New Jersey on Monday. And she was, you know, did the whole thing, and the model, and her interesting story, too, how people go and just change and everything they come up with. So I'm hoping to see you guys at Rosario's tonight. I'll be with Jeff Dubray. Chris Baccaro does a great job there with Rosario's. Let's say hello. Airtight Windows. Hello, Mark. I hope you are well, my good friend and your son. Selling my hot chocolate bombs. There you go, Carol. At Ozzy's in North Lake today. We got Steubenville, Ohio, Florida, Wisconsin. We have Mississippi, California, Santa Barbara, Arizona. How you guys all doing? Albert from the Ron Onesti organization. Kathy Eppolito all the way from Santa Barbara, California. How you doing? We got a good friend from Michigan. Joanne, how you doing? Richard, we got a great show for you folks. So let me bring up our guest. Let's not keep this boy waiting too long. I've met Joe years ago at, Giannotti's. I can just say the name of the clubs that we used to be at. And Joe, I think you should sneak in, because I don't think he's our age. I think he's a little younger than we are. We had a talk show, me and my good buddy, the late Johnny Varimus, better known as Johnny V. We were on a little talk show. I think it was on Saturdays, called the Vegas Spotlight on WRRG. And Joe was their producer. And I never realized till much later that we were actually on a Christian station. And I was surprised that we got half of the shit that we did. Oh, yes, I want to say hello, Kathy, our good friend from Nashville in the house. Yeehaw! Hope you're having fun over there. Southwest Michigan, Johnny Davey, how you doing, my good friend? Everybody's good. Mark, the long row ahead, my brother. Prayers, as long as we can still do that. So to your brother. Richie, Captain, is watching in the house. Richie, of course, Richard Captain and Christy just has celebrated a 20-year wedding anniversary. So congratulations to the Captain. Step up. Anyway, we used to have a lot of fun back in the day. And, of course, Joe's been doing his stuff, working announcing with pro wrestling and meeting all the great pro wrestling stars. And that's another thing that me and Joe have in common, big WWE fans and AEW, which I watch. And me and my son Joey loves that stuff too, so it's cool. Also, he's a ring announcer for Fight Card Entertainment for the MMA. He's also a ring announcer for our good friend Bobby Hitz at Hitz Boxing Promotions. And Bobby does an incredible job putting that stuff together. But we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, our friend, a fellow Italiano, that's right, Showtime Joe Rousey. Let's bring him on. Joey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Tony. Good afternoon. Ciao, come stai? It's an honor to be here with you after all these years, man. You know, you look the same. I'm getting older, though. You know what I mean? So
listen, I can't see anymore, so I got glasses. Only when I'm working, but not at night.
You were talking about me sneaking into Gennadi's days. You know, I'm going to be 45 next month, and you could do those things back in the 90s, man. You know what I mean? Get in those places. It was a lot easier to see you at Jilly's.
Easier. You guys got the I mean, you were what? You're 45, so you must.
I will be, next month. Yes.
So you had to be what, 16, 17 when we were bringing you in there at that time?
Yeah, about 19, yeah, something like that. Yeah, my family knew Vic very well too, and everybody over there. And we're talking about Lawrence and Cumberland, the great Norwich days, of course. And you take me to Jilly's, man, and I mean, I'd be riding high. You know, you'd be happy for me. At the time, I had just started with Jerry Springer in '97, and then Johnny V got me on the show with you guys. Of course, the great Joe Gentile radio station there we were at, and rest in peace, Joe, another great man. And
Joe Gentile. But you know what, Joe, I didn't remember. Was it a Christian station? Was it a Christian station?
I think they were doing all sorts of programs. I think after a while, we had a high fan base there because everywhere we went, then you want me to come with you because, you know, they wanted to know who I was and Johnny and this and that. Yeah. And then I think we got a little complaints because we pushed it, though. You know, we thought outside the box. We had a lot of great ideas. And, you know, and when they tell us, they give us a little slap on the hand, don't do that no more. They kept us on the air. You know, we stayed on as long as we wanted to stay. And it was a great time.
I mean, you know, politically correct back then really wasn't as anal and horrible as it is now.
No, not at all.
We can't say everybody. Everybody gets so offended.
Right. Now everybody's getting fired for emails from 10 years ago and this and that. And then, you know, like what happened to poor Chucky Gruden. I mean, you know, I'm sure things happen out of anger all the time, you know. And I say a lot of things I don't mean to people I care and love about. He was doing an email about some, you know, co-workers. And, I mean, it's, you know, life is frustrating enough. Just imagine being in that position in the NFL and dealing with so many people.
Joe, here's what I don't get. I mean, you're right. Joe Gruden, of course, NFL coach, used to be for the Las Vegas Raiders or Oakland Raiders, whatever they're called now. Anyway, I mean, they found some emails, some letters he sent 10 years ago. It comes up and he gets fired, but they still can't find Hunter Biden's laptop.
Right.
They can't find Joe Biden's kid's laptop or Hillary Clinton's emails. They can't find those. But they can find Joe Gruden's from the NFL that happened 10 years ago.
And you know, I met him personally. My cousin at the time married this is going back almost over 15 years ago. He was still in Tampa, and she married a team doctor at the time of the Buccaneers. He was there with the GM and president. I mean, he was a family man, great guy. I mean, you know, we all say things sometimes we don't mean or right. And I mean, I think everything like that, Tony, should be based on overall character. Everybody's due to one mistake. I mean, you know, or a couple. I mean, you know, get up on your feet. I mean, I think people in a position like him or you or me know our overall character. You know what I mean? And what we believe in and our values. So, I mean, if we make a mistake or something, we're only human too. You know, we deserve a second chance, you know?
Yeah. And it's getting harder and harder these days, and you can't say anything. Captain Rick is on. Remember, you said when he used to come on and do the Mort Report.
The Mort Report, Rick. I love him. Rick, what's up, buddy? I haven't seen him in a while. Tell Rick I said hello, man. I love to see all these guys again. We got to have a reunion.
You know what's funny? The Mort Report, for some people that didn't know, Rick would call up and tell you who died for the week.
Well, for the famous people, we were
dead, so we used to call it the Mort Report.
I think we were the first people to do that in Chicago to every week highlight the celebrity deaths and stuff like that, you know, at the time.
Oh, yeah. And then we used to never have Stormy the Weather Girl.
Yes.
I mean, we had some great whatchamacallit. But Joe, let's talk about you, buddy. Showtime Joe Rousey. Where were you born, buddy?
Well, I'm first generation born. Both my parents came off the boat, as they say, from Tigiano Bari, Italy. And I was born in Chicago, but raised in Park Ridge. So I was born at St. Anne's, the 28 to 77 on the west side. My parents came here. They were all living out that way, Grand and Ogden area, Belmont then. And then we moved to Norridge. I was 6 years old, and about 88. Yeah, it was about 82. I lived there for about 7 years till we moved to Italy. In about 83. My brother and I, first generation born here. We left Norridge 83 to go to Italy for a year and a half. My dad had business there. We had a lot of family. We came back. Sure. And by 86, we lived in Park Ridge ever since. I moved back and forth here throughout the years, but I'm back here in Park Ridge. But born in Chicago, first generation.
Joe, you got a big family, obviously being Italian. Are you close to your family?
Yeah. I mean, I love my mom and dad, and I'm glad you brought that up. Tomorrow is 54 years. Big Al Rossi and Sarah Rossi are married, and my brother Manny's going to be 54 this year. They had him right away. And they waited for a while. About 10 years later, they had me, and they said, no more for sure. Huh? After me, no more, my mom and dad, tomorrow, 54 years. I wish them all the best health and happiness. They sold all their businesses during Siesta Key Beach there. I was just there for about a month there for the holidays.
Sure.
And, my brother's there with his family. I have a wonderful niece and nephew, a sister-in-law, and my daughter's there as well. I'm on good terms. I'm a single dad. And I'm on good terms with, obviously, my daughter's mom. And, they live by my family in Florida. So I'm going to be going more back and forth between Florida and Chicago, obviously, to see my daughter more. I want to say hi to my daughter, Francesca. Dad loves you so much.
There you go.
Back in Sarasota there. She just started Catholic school, 6th grade there. So Dad loves you. I'm proud of you, Francesca, and to all my family there in Florida and all over here in Chicago.
You know what? You're a big family guy, which is fantastic. Italian, speak Italian.
Sì, parlo italiano. Eu baras pud. Parlo cubaras. So tutti baras out there. I speak the dialect, the proper Italian. That's actually, Tone, old school, brother. That I learned Italian before English. I learned Italian at home, and you learned English at the school or on the TV. Watching Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, that was our TV, so that was our learning at home.
Same with me. I speak it still, and I'm a Toscano because I'm on the northern end part of Italy. But it's still great that I get to talk to my mom, still Italian, that we can still have this language. Joey, where this ring announcing stuff? I mean, you're always into broadcasting, but then when you start doing stuff with, I see you interviewing different celebrities and stars, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Jimmy Hart. I mean, the list goes on and on with wrestling. And then you become a ring announcer for the MMA, but pretty cool fight card entertainment. And then, of course, boxing thing. Now, so let me ask you, where did it all start?
So I'm proud to say I'm a Maine South High School alumni, class of 1995, Tony, here in Park Ridge. And my sophomore year, I started my freshman year, which was 91, in broadcasting there, getting involved with the TV radio station WMTH, which I'm proud to say they celebrated 60 years 2 years ago, had me part of their official alumni. And we were supposed to do a big celebration, but of course COVID happened, and they wanted me to be a speaker there. So that's all still in the works. But sure. I quit playing sports my sophomore year because I just loved growing up in Chicago. I was blessed because being a sports guy and, having an older brother too. Like I said, Manny, my big brother, I love him. He's almost 10 years older than me. So growing up, he was the one who started me with the wrestling. If you remember, all we had before what they called the WWF national expansion of the mid-'80s, you woke up on Sunday morning on Channel 26 and you had AWA and Bob Luce Wrestling.
Bob Luce, Moose Cholak,
Vern Gagne, Greg Gagne, the High Flyers, Jim Brunzell, Crusher Jerry Blackwell, and that evil Sheik and Casey. I mean,
Bruiser and the Crusher, the Valiant Brothers.
Now the amphitheater shows were a little bit before my time, but they started they built the Horizon in '79. AWA was first there, going to Rosemont, but I was watching it Sundays on Channel 26, if you remember the commercials, Ben's Auto Sales,
Ben's
One
Auto
Stop
Sales.
Mart, all of that, man. Bobo Brazil, the legendary, the wrestlers would do the commercials with Bob Luce. And my brother would scare me with Baron Von Raschke with the claw. he'd say,
Baron Von Raschke with the claw.
Joey, he's gonna come get you tonight from the TV. And I go running to my mom. I go, that guy's gonna hurt me tonight, man. He said,
well, you don't want to laugh. A funny story. I got to meet Baron Von Raschke years later. And when I first said hello to the guy, he didn't even have an accent, because obviously we believe that those characters were those people. Obviously, he's not a Nazi German guy.
No, he's a great guy from Nebraska. He went to the University of Nebraska. I mean, once they say kayfabe, all the secrets came out, but you still respected the business. I mean, and so based on that, I mean, growing up, I'm I was born in a big Blackhawks family, so I'll start with that. If you remember, Pat Foley and Dale Talon were the original guys, man, Then you had Jack Brickhouse, Harry Carey for baseball, and everybody, all these awesome announcers and broadcasters in Chicago, not even doing sports. Eddie and Jobo. I got to host some great events with Eddie Volkman. Shout out to Eddie, who's still on the radio.
Eddie's a great guy. I did a couple of shows with him for the pet organization for dogs and animals. That was very cool. Yeah, he's got some new shows.
I hosted some old school dance parties from featuring 90s music with him here in Edison Park at some awesome venues, Edison Park Inn and stuff like that. I mean, working with that and growing up, like I said, a TV radio town like that for a guy who loves, I told Eddie too the first time I met him, I'm a broadcasting nerd. I know all the little details. I mean, just to say about WGN TV, man, I was able to go there one time thanks to Mike Toomey, had me on there on one of his skits. But I mean, and it took me back to watching Bozo's show with the great Fraser Thomas, who I admired always, family classics with my dad. I mean, sports and entertainment. These things are things, the little things in life, Tony, I believe are the big things. Like you put so much smiles on people's faces. They look forward to come seeing you.
You'd be surprised how many people don't smile, but thank you. I do appreciate that.
We'll leave that for another show. I got those same people too, Tony. But, I always felt like everybody always told me, Joe, you got this energy about you. It's a little, God puts it in you sometimes to, make it a little bit why you would appreciate something. And I always appreciated Chicago broadcasting, sports, entertainment. I mean, to 110%, So as I got older, I went to Illinois Center for Broadcasting. I quit. So before that, though, I quit playing sports. I was covering on the radio and TV in high school. Illinois Center for Broadcasting. I get the call to cover the White Sox and Blackhawks for it was WNDZAM on a Highland Park. Okay. And I was doing that, and I met Frank. Dude, I'm the youngest guy there. I meet Frank Pellico in the press box there on the organ player. I mean, it's a dream. This is 97, 98-ish, a little bit before we met. And then I get a call, and I hope she's watching Ronda Funk, Miss Ronda Funk, who held it all together at the time at NBC Tower for the Jerry Springer show.
Very cool.
And this is the time where we were the first show. Yeah. I was helping out in production, sometimes security. Steve Wilkos, he was a great guy. Jerry was great, and Rhonda was great. I mean, we had a great crew there. I was there for 2 years. I was part of that whole crew. We were the first show to beat Oprah in the ratings in 10 years.
Well, you know what? Yeah, when Springer was hot at the time, and he used to come to Jilly's all the time. We'd have some cocktails together. We'd have a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I like Springer, man. He came up with a concept that nobody was thinking of doing at the time. The trash, the hillbillies, whatever all this stuff was. But it was good entertainment because it was fun. And you could just see that he's enjoying himself. A very smart man. I think he was from Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. He was mayor of Cincinnati, a TV news guy, mayor. And I can assure you this one thing. People always ask me. The stuff was true on there. They had to sign a waiver proving that everything, or else the guests would be sued. The fees of the show. It cost about $15,000 to make an episode of that at NBC Tower. The thing was about that at the time. You had Phil Donahue was all serious. And other talk shows. Then, Jenny Jones came along. She filmed right above us upstairs at NBC Tower on Columbus Drive there at the time.
What I liked about Springer, just like you said, the other guys had their celebrities on. They told their story of what album they're coming out with, or their new movie, or their new TV show, and it was smiles and all this whatchamacallit. And then in reality, you look at Springer, some of these people that were on this show, as crazy as they were, that's a lot of people in this world. And
right. It makes you realize how
Joe, imagine if they had Springer on right now with all this craziness going on.
Right. And that's what I think not just about how could this happen? A son sleeping with his stepmother or cousins, who's my kid's dad, which cousin or which sister I impregnated.
Yeah,
These were real situations. And, it might be, these things may not happen in your corner of the world, but it was real life America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was people flying from all over the country to fly into Chicago and tell their real life stories and situations that people really couldn't believe. And they were true. You know
what? I find that often. If you read the news now, this stuff is happening. Fathers, and they don't know, like when the mother and the father and sleeping with the sister. I mean, come on, it happens all the time. And some people I know can't appreciate that. But I always liked Springer, just like I also liked Mancow, and I still do.
For sure.
And I love Steve Dahl, and I love the Stern. I mean, he said some stupid things in the last couple of weeks, but I still like Stern. He took this level and he put this a show like this, and he brought it to a major level and market where everybody knows who he is. So you got to give kudos to those guys instead of the guys that just read the cue card and say, "Oh, today Joey opened up his new store." You know what I mean?
Right. They thought outside the box. It was something where they could relate to. Like you said, Stern did it. I was a little. I mean, he was the early '80s. Then my generation was Mancow. Of course, he started out on 103.5, then went to the Loop, and I mean, I even used to call him. And his turd, his assistant, went to where I went to school. Jeff Renzuti went to Illinois Center for Broadcasting, where I graduated from. A lot of great people went there, and I mean, I think it was something at the time in America, like the '90s into the early 2000s, where people, were always like they needed something. Yeah, I think it came jumping out where there's a time to have fun, there's a time to be serious, but it's always important to be yourself and be loose and be real. You know what I mean? So
right, and that's what I'm talking about. Those guys. Now we get some comments coming in that he was gross and Mancow's gross and the other guys gross. Let me tell you something, Marion, and people that are commenting that they didn't like Mancow, they didn't like Springer. But look, at least when you seen these guys when they talked and when they did their show, they told it like it is, whether you like it or not. Their story was an open book to their own lives.
Right.
Whoever thought that we'd be watching these goody two shoes? Let's take an example for some of you people. You might have had a dirty mouth. People like my good friend Marion says, yeah, he had a dirty mouth. Well, how about when everybody was watching Bill Cosby? Here's a guy that everybody thought it was the greatest American, great yellow pudding, and here he was. And having sex with these ladies for so many years. And that's what I mean. So I'd rather have the guy that's loud, obnoxious, upfront. You see us coming, instead of those guys in back that play that innocent goody two-shoes guy, but behind the scenes are the biggest jerk-offs in the world. And now Cosby, when he went away, and which he got everything he deserved. And so I don't know. Cosby was a pig. And that's all there is to it.
Right. There's, there's gonna. I actually saw something about that real quick. There's gonna be a whole Showtime documentary. They're showing the previews now. Yeah. And you know what's it's even sad about that though, Tony, too. And there was a person on there, I forgot who she was, but she made a valid point during the preview. Everybody knew, because for that time to go along and for that to happen for that long a time, the right people knew people need to help you get away with stuff like that. And unfortunately, it's sad to say, all the right people knew that helped them get away with it, which is really the sad part.
Which is really sad, because everybody knew.
Right.
It's the same thing. Everybody knew what was going on with that. Just like the Penn State, I call them the Penn State Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
It was a disgrace what they did, just because they didn't want to mark the team. It's a hockey team. Right. You got lucky a couple years.
Right.
For many years, you didn't give a shit about your fans because the father never put them on television.
Right. So, it's a sad thing to say about that.
when that coach was molesting that kid up in the office. How come nobody talks about that anymore?
Right. There's no excuse about that at all.
No
as much as I'm a big fan my whole life, when I used to cover them, it was really sad. My heart broke. That kid could have been. Was the next Patrick Kane too. I mean, you know what I mean. He was, not only is it a shame what happened, it ruined his career. He was a big star.
Yeah, he's never going to be able to play hockey. And
right,
you know what?
right. And you talk about the lawsuit and the money. Yeah, you got. He may have gotten millions or whatever. But I mean, that last week, something like that. It's a lifetime of remembering what happened and what cost you a career. So
well, you know what? Look, and that's what's great about the people. You can either like them or you can't. I got friends of mine who like Mancow, they don't like him, whatever it is. But Richard Hamlin said, "Great. If you don't like the television show or you don't like the radio, change the station."
That's the way I saw it always. That's the way I always see it.
You can find something else. I mean, that's what it's about. Let's talk real fast now. MMA, man. Now, I remember growing up as a kid, I always loved boxing. Boxing was the thing, man. Muhammad Tyson, Joe Frazier, Joe Foreman, and of course, down goes Frazier.
Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell's another idol of mine, man. Howard Cosell.
But then what do you think happened? I had a good friend of ours, of course, the guy that you work for, the great Bobby Hitz. He was on the show, and I was asking him what your opinion is. What happened to boxing? Because it just lost that. Someone said that maybe there wasn't enough heavyweights anymore. What happened to boxing?
Well, for a long time, and maybe within the past 20 years, recently the heavyweight division's been getting better. Tyson Fury's an awesome champion. Yes. He's been doing a great job representing the heavyweight division. But prior to that, I mean, after the whole Mike Tyson era and Evander Holyfield, and I mean, I'll never forget when George Foreman won the title at 45 years old, man.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. We were in high school. We were in the basement.
Remember when Muhammad Ali came back and beat Spinks the first time?
Yeah. I was a little kid with my dad, and my favorite of all time is Sugar Ray Leonard. I'll never forget when he beat Hagler at Caesar's Palace in '87, and then he gave a beating to Don Lalonde. He put him through the ropes in '89. I mean, even with the lightweights, super lightweights, welterweights, that division dominated for a while. Yes. Because after Holyfield, like I said, Tyson and all those guys, then you had the Klitschko brothers. After that, I forgot the British champion. He was up. Lennox Lewis. I mean, those guys weren't really drawing. Then, they didn't really want to fight this guy or fight that guy. They got kind of, back in the day, you fought who the promoters put against you, and you got paid.
And that's what it was.
And now the heavy, Lennox Lewis was like, I don't want to fight this guy. I don't want to fight that guy. This and that. And the heavyweight division kind of got stained for a little bit. But now you got fighters with social media and everything calling each other out. Tyson Fury just the other day on Top Rank.
I love that. You're right, Joe, about that, which I think is fantastic. And, the Mike Tyson thing, I loved him. Some people loved him. Some people said he was a bum. I'm just trying to think that, and this is what I want your opinion on this, too. If Mike Tyson, when he had, what's his name with him? His
Don
coach.
King?
No, his coach.
Customato?
If Customato didn't die, if he didn't die and still had his hands and ropes and care about over Michael Tyson, Michael would have still been champion for a long time. I think when Don King came in there, just screwed up that poor kid's life.
Yeah, you know what? And not only Don King, I think the marriage to Robin Givens, she really, if you remember that whole thing with Barbara Walters, they had that little meltdown there. She really put him out to dry, and he had to sit there and take it. And I think after that, I mean, because he really couldn't, say anything that he really wanted to say on TV, But I think Robin Givens messed him up. Don King, I mean, obviously, when he lost to Buster Douglas, kind of, in Japan, that was supposed to be kind of like a, warm-up fight to another matchup title, But and then the whole situation, I think he put himself in a situation where I wish that in the back of his head, he would have thought, would Cuss want me to do this? Would Cuss not want me to do this? But I think he just went.
You know what, Joe? You're right. But what happens also when you become famous like that, there's a lot of mark on you.
Well, yeah, sure.
What happened to him in Indiana
was horrible.
It was horrible. If that was in New York or Chicago, that never would have happened.
Right.
But because it was Indiana, they got to give African Americans a hard time as it is.
And not only that, it's Mike Tyson, too. I mean, you know what I mean?
Mike Tyson. The girl knew exactly what she was going to do
Right.
at whatever 2 o'clock in the morning when she's going up to a hotel room with Mike Tyson. They
Right.
weren't playing cards.
Right.
So they got to be a little bit, of course, it's always the guy. It's, it's the victim.
Right,
You know,
right. And back then, nobody knew. Right. It's a fact. He didn't force her up there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
No, and after that,
Absolutely.
it's he said, she said. If you got no proper proof of anything, and unfortunately, it cost him 4 years to, he didn't fight. This was a fight Holyfield. It was signed in '92, and then it didn't happen until '96, and we all know how that went down with the biting of the ear and all of that.
And now look at him. He turned himself around.
That's what I was about to say.
He's doing incredible now.
He's a perfect example of that. When you fall down, you get right back up. You learn from your mistakes, and right now the way we're living, Tony, a lot of people are going through that. After dealing with a lot of things, personal, business situations, and that's what makes America great. You fall down, you get right back up.
We're the only country that, like I said, we can majorly fuck up many times. And I do believe, though, it's how you come back up again. And I also think that when people are the celebrities at the time, here's a perfect example. Robert Downey Jr. was an incredible actor. For many, many years, he got involved with bad drugs and different people.
Right. Rehab in and out all the time.
Yeah, but when he was popular, they said he was an easy guy to work with. They all liked him. So he made a couple bad moves. You end up on the bottom, but on the way up, everybody was willing to give him another shot because he wasn't a jerk when he was up on top. You always got to remember not to be a jerk once you get to that. We all have bad days. We're all going to say something, rub somebody the wrong way. That happens to me every day. But what I'm trying to say is at least the heart is in the right spot.
Tony, here's the bottom line, and my dad said this for years. He was a very successful businessman, still is, my father. And, no matter what, though, you never forget where you come from. He never forgets still being that kid in Italy, with nothing and coming to this country and working hard. And even for, we've all been there. I've, ups and downs. I'm kind of in between right now with everything after COVID. And, I had a personal leg injury that happened to me back in 2019 and all of that. But, you come back stronger. But like I said, for mistakes you make, people know, if they know who you really are inside and out, the majority of the people, you'll get that chance. And that's the thing. You can never have that ego. You know what I mean? Because without the people you work with and without your fans and without, your faith,
you're done.
We have nothing. You know what I mean? So,
Joe, look at this. NFL football. We talk about this all the time with different guests and talk about it. Look, murderers are playing football again.
Right.
And I was saying that if O.J. Simpson, when he just got out of jail, if he was still young enough, he'd still be playing football. So we take back everything. And let's go to another topic real fast. I know with the MMA.
Right.
Now that took over. And
I started. Now we're going to do my ring announcing here. I still have a great friend. His name is Nick Cortese. His dad, the late Ray Cortese, bought the AWA Chicago territory from Minnesota. Okay. So that was my first ring announcing, was AWA Slam Wrestling. And man, my first celebrity I met there was Jimmy Valiant, handsome Jimmy Valiant, Hall of Famer. Of the Valiant brothers. I did a big show with him.
And luscious Johnny Valiant, his
brother. Yes.
And
rest in peace, Johnny V passed away, but Jimmy's still alive. And Jimmy Hart, I got to do the show with him with AWA Slam Wrestling. Road Warrior Animal of the Awesome Legion of Doom. Before that though, I was working at the Rosemont Horizon too. And they loved me, man, because they knew I was a big fan. They always would tell me, you saw all my pictures, all my fans saw all the pictures from my Rosemont days. Ric Flair. I had an actual friend. You brought up Hulk Hogan before. My friend was working for Hulk Hogan at the time. And we had dinner in Rosemont when he came back to WWE that night in 2002 after Monday Night Raw. They had the whole restaurant just for us. It was incredible. I'll never forget it. But then to work with the wrestlers in AWA Slam Wrestling was incredible. All the local talent, too, I got to work with, all the different organizations, Pro Wrestling Blitz, CSW, AWA Slam, of course. It was great. Then that led to Fight Card Entertainment, MMA, my great friends, Brian Angelo, Nilo Soto, and I want to give a shout-out to them. 5 years, I'm their ring announcer and reporter, and they always let me succeed and keep growing strong with my career. and doing shows, interviews,
What I like
hosting
about
events.
you, Joe, what I like about you, man, you keep pushing. And real fast, Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things, folks. We have Showtime Joe Rousey on, folks, ring announcer for pro wrestling, MMA, boxing, and so much more. A local guy here from Chicago. Time for a quick sponsor. Don't forget, folks, the guys to pay our bills are the sponsors. So let's talk about SteakSyndicate.com. It's only till the end of the month, folks. SteakSyndicate.com. We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. That's right. Get the steaks and chops and chicken, all that stuff right to your home instead of going to those restaurants. If you don't want to go to the restaurants, get this quality meats sent right to your home. Very simple. Go to SteakSyndicate.com. Put in Tony Ocean, the promo code. Get 25% the membership fee, and then you get a free tomahawk steak. That's SteakSyndicate.com. John Seriani does it right just for Ocean Pit listeners and Tony Ocean fans. Of course, Ocean's Pit, a little show about things. Showtime Joe Rousey. Joe, doing what you're doing, it's fantastic. We need sports. They just made the announcement, of course, of baseball, Hall of Fame. Of course, the only one that got put in this year is David Ortiz, former Boston Red Sox. Of course, the three major guys with the best, more hitting and home and whatever are not going to be able to be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's their last shot for Roger Clemens.
For the writers' ballot, I mean, yeah, they'll have other opportunities, I think, for other ways to get on there.
Roger Clemens, and of course, Pete Rose. And you know what? Look, three of my favorite baseball players of all time is Derek Jeter, Mickey Mantle, and Pete Rose. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, he cheated in baseball. And when he was I don't think he bet on his own team.
Never. They never had any proof he bet against to lose the Reds ever. And you know what, Tony? You make a wonderful point. Well, David Ortiz yesterday definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The other ones based on the proof of their steroids use, that's a whole other topic. But Pete Rose is different. I think he should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. He never bet against the Reds to lose. He bet against other teams and for them to win, and he bet other games. It was against the law.
Pete Rose's only problem was he waited too long to admit that he was wrong.
Right.
If he would have came out and said, man, I had a problem. I still do, whatever the hell it is. I'm working on it. Because, look, McGuire said he was sorry. Now he became heading coach again for the Cardinals years ago.
Right.
So he waited too long to admit guilt, because like I said, we talked about this, if you're really sincere, people are looking at Andy Pettit, everybody that goes,
right.
They take this to a different level. I don't know if they're not going to put him in the Hall of Fame. Will they put Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds
never
after they die? Yes.
I don't know about Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, that I think Pete Rose has the best chance of that happening. I mean, look at Pete Rose today. He's on MLB Network. He's doing the broadcasting. The Reds welcome him back with open arms. He could go to stadiums again. I mean, I think he may be able to do it if he's still alive. I mean, if the right things happen, because that's the point.
Also, Joe, the new commissioner, I guess they've been talking with the new commissioner. New commissioner guy seems like he might be, I don't know the new commissioner, but the new guy, I guess they've had meetings already. There is some talk, so who knows?
Right. And here's the thing about McGuire, Sosa, Clemens. After 94, the greediest and worst strike and lockout ever in baseball. I mean, people are going to say, yeah, they saved baseball with the home run race, this and that, but it was all tainted. I mean, it always goes back to that. So, and now, unfortunately, baseball, Tony, I know you've been following it. You love spring training. You're a fan of the Sox as well, Cubbies. We're looking in that direction again. It could be greedier than 94. There may be another lockout. I mean, I
got a feeling there's going to be a lockout.
You know what I mean? People are like spring training in X amount of days. It's not happening right now. I mean,
perfect example. We got a gig in Florida, and we're doing some flights here, and people wonder why the prices are so high because spring training, but they're not going to happen. They're canceling the spring training.
Because there hasn't been an agreement yet, between the players, the union, the owners, all of that. It's 94 all over again.
I don't think we're going to have baseball. I don't think we might have it eventually, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year, or maybe not at the regular starting time. But look, some people made some good points. People that are watching right now, and this Richard Hamlin said this many times: put everybody in the Hall of Fame. I like to hear their story. Number one, and number two, Patrick Hague says, folks, Shoeless Joe Jackson should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's another thing. I mean,
how many years is that?
Right.
How many years is that?
Right. And you know what? Those guys paid the price already too all these years. I mean, I agree with you on that one. And you know what? And here's the thing, though. 94, the economy was way better. Everybody was making money. But let me tell you, my brother got so mad about that because the Sox were top contenders to go again to the World Series, 93, 94. He got rid of the season tickets for the White Sox. He was so pissed off. That happens today. With the way money is, you know about it, Tony. You say support local teams, local entertainment, this and that.
Sure.
People, they want to go out, but, they're going to pick and choose now the way the economy is. I mean, and what they're going to want to see. Nobody's going to, in this generation, is going to put up with that. You know what I mean? So,
no, but that's why you go. Look, I have a son. We have a son, Joe, who loves the Cubs. We have a son, Tony, that loves the Sox, and I'm a diehard Yankee fan.
I love them both. I mean, I say, you know what I say? If Harry Carey could have worked and done awesome with both teams, I could love them both too. You know what I mean, Tony? So,
but you know what? The prices of these baseball games,
right,
to a team that loses and loses, loses, it's just like the Bears. Now they got a new GM, the guy from the Kansas City Chiefs. Part of the deal was that has to pick their own. Have to pick his own coach. I don't know. I don't care who you got to coach. If you got that no offensive line, that Justin Fields is going to get destroyed mid-season next year.
I'm not going to lie, Tony, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. I love the Bears, and I'm a big Miami Dolphins fan too. Miami down there is starting to rebuild, and the Bears need to do that too. But here's the thing with the Bears, okay? And I think this is the bottom line, and we'll all agree. There's always going to be a McCaskey in the GM's ear telling them what to do. I think that's a fact. I think it's always going to be that way. Yep. You know what I mean? And unless they tell them the right things to do, the McCaskies are going to be blamed. And you know what? And then, but literally, though, who gets the blame? The coach gets fired. The GM gets fired. But in reality, it's the McCaskies making the decisions. And if you know Bears football, that's been going on forever.
For many years. But here's a proven fact. The old man died. The father died of the Hawks. The kid put him back on television. They hired some new people, and they won how many Stanley Cups?
3. Yeah, and that's, you know what? It's sad to say. My big brother Manny told this. He goes, it took Bill Wirtz to die for the Hawks to be on TV right away. Yeah. Right away, he got that deal done.
Right.
They brought in Jim McDonough.
Cubs too. Remember they brought in Epstein from the Red Sox.
Right.
Bam, they win a World Series.
Right.
So until McCaskey goes. Now the mother's 99.
Right, and she goes to every game, Virginia McCaskey. Even on the road.
Do the kids keep the team or they sell the team?
Well, here's the bottom line: if they got all the money in the world, if they're making the right decisions with their money, now with the new stadium, hopefully that's going to go through. I think that'll be a big deal because not only for them, I think they'll have then the better opportunities to bring in the right people. I have always said, like we're talking about the Hawks. Yeah. He brought in John McDonough. Rocky Wirtz, who's no longer with the team, but at the time, he brought in the right people for the front office. Championships start in the front office. So if the McCaskies are going to follow what the Blackhawks and the Cubs did at the time, there's no reason they can't win a couple of Super Bowls because they got the talent right now and they got the right people. But it's just the way, the little things are costing them. The little things are the big things, even in football. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And I agree with you right there, man. MMA, now we'll go back to our favorite. Well, my favorite, of course, is the WWE. Now, boy, they are really lacking. I'm trying to watch. I still watch. And thank God you got Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley for the Royal Rumble this Saturday. Do I – listen, we know Lashley's not going to win. Because Brock Lesnar's going to go against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So we kind of know that already. Even though I love Bobby Lashley. I love the AEW. I like MF, what's his name? The young guy, MF, whatever his name is. He reminds me of an old Ric Flair. I mean,
yeah.
And I think it's very cool here. I don't know what's happening. There is talks that McMahon wants to sell the team. What do you think?
All right, here's the thing. Here's what's going on. Basically, if you remember in Vince McMahon, WWE have nothing to prove to anybody. They're gonna have their big fan base. Okay, they're gonna have. I mean, they're a publicly traded company. They sold for billions of dollars to Peacock, the WWE network. Okay. Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch that for night? You know, you have Peacock, you can watch every pay-per-view. It's not like a long time ago you got to pay, $80 to see WrestleMania, SummerSlam, or anything like that. It's all included.
Or we had, remember when we were kids, Joe, we had that box, so we got everything.
You had to go to the office. You had to go to the 1-800 cable meet office to get the box. Then the black boxes came
Joe,
in, and that's
better yet, my father, they used to have the flea market in Melrose Park. So there was a guy that used to tape the shows on Saturday on VHS, and then you'd go there on Sunday and he'd say the tape for $15 and you'd put the VHS and you'd watch wrestling instead of paying for it. That was my dad. He was like the best at that. Yeah.
So look at how Vince built up the company. You remember the Rosemont Horizon days? There'd be a house show every month. They were on schedule. They were on the road 300 days a year, these guys, and he built it up. Today, he doesn't have to worry about another company going to Madison Square Garden or their big venues, because they'll always be WWE number one. Because all these wrestlers that go to AEW, MLW, Ring of Honor, all of that, they all come Vince McMahon, And let me tell you, that NXT program was the thing that kept them going. Now, lately, there have been a lot of firings that fans don't agree with. I mean, that's just a business decision. Obviously, after losses from the pandemic and not able to pay certain salaries. But let me tell you this. I like what AEW does. They brought back in the old timers too to manage Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson. WWE is going to be doing that same thing. But with their NXT program, nobody has a great farm system like WWE. And that's what's going to keep WWE going, is their farm. Triple H has a mindset. I mean, he married Vince's daughter, Stephanie. And you know what? Sure. He's been doing great things with that farm system and letting people develop and get to main event status. They always did good. They used to have Ohio Valley Wrestling, Florida Championship Wrestling, and they brought in NXT then. And that's the thing.
NXT was fantastic. Joe, I'm going to tell you something. A couple questions. I know we're running out of time, so I got to ask you just a couple questions here. Yeah. Number one, how was it meeting the greatest wrestler in the world? My opinion, nobody will ever beat. Woo!
The Nature Boy. You know what? He was so awesome. We were at Rosemont. I was working. They all knew me. He said, "Come on, Joe," and we took a picture. We talked, and he's very real. I mean, if you've seen I relate meeting him to watching that 30 for 30 documentary ESPN.
Wow, was that fantastic?
It was about fantastic, and that's when I met him. He's, they say the character and the person are one and the same, but with the fans, you could tell how real he was, that he appreciated the fans and how much he loved the sport, because he's too like us. Without our fans, without being grateful, without thanking God, we got nothing, and he always felt that way.
Well, the question that was going on now, I know he's old and he can't wrestle again, but I would love to have him go to AEW and just put those 4 fingers up with Blanchard and Arn Anderson, and just come back and maybe take a new guy, maybe become the manager or something. I mean, Rick is Ric Flair, man. He walks out, people still go nuts.
That's a very good possibility to this day. Rumored he won't go back to WWE because they just let him go. Obviously, he was one of the guys that got let go. But to be, and they could bring J.J. Dillon back too. I mean, I think he's been there in and out. But
let's ask another question. We know Brock Lesnar. It's going to happen. Brock Lesnar is going to go against Roman Reigns, WrestleMania. We know that. I know it's Royal Rumble, but we know, because we know storylines. We can follow. Everybody that follows wrestles kind of knows what's the buildup. Does Roman Reigns win again and get his belt back at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar?
Well, here's the decision they got to make. Is Brock going to be full-time again? You know what I mean? That WWE doesn't want to get criticized for having a part-time champion, But then again, Brock shows up for Raw. Brock shows up for SmackDown. I mean, they could pull it off with Brock because he is the name, the moneymaker, puts the asses in the seats, and taking nothing away from Roman Reigns. But, I mean, who else would you have him in a main event against, at WrestleMania to make it outstanding for WrestleMania?
There is nobody else. Goldberg's done. Goldberg might have one more match in, but he's done.
John Cena's acting. I mean, he may be coming back eventually, but there's another part-time guy who can still do it as well. But, I mean, taking nothing away from Roman Reigns, who's part of that awesome Samoan dynasty,
Yes.
that started out with Afa and Sika
Yes,
and
yes.
Samula back in the 70s, 80s,
Uso,
man.
the bloodline is huge, man. It's like
Right.
the new horsemen.
Yokozuna was one of them. I mean, Rikishi, all those guys. But I
Nia
see.
Jax was part of that family too. Nia
Yes,
Jax.
she was.
Yeah.
She was. Yeah. She just got released, unfortunately, from WWE. She was a
Right.
great woman's talent.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a toss up. I mean, it could go either way. Maybe there'll be a Money in the Bank cash in like they did when Seth Rollins won in San Francisco. I mean, but here's the bottom line. If Brock wins, that means he's going to be maybe a little bit longer term with WWE.
Sure.
And Roman wins, that means they may feed somebody else the title. I mean, an up-and-coming stars. I mean, you know what I mean? So
Someone's
either
gonna
way,
come.
we'll have to see and find out. It's based on that. How much longer does Brock want to do it full-time? Or, I think they need it, if he does win the belt, I think they need him more than a part-time guy. You know what I mean? So,
They need a full-time guy in there. I totally agree with you. Royal Rumble, there's this mysteries of who might show up and mystery. The name's been out there, been thrown out. Undertaker might make a return.
I love when they show the old timers.
I hear maybe Steve Austin might make a return.
Yeah, every Royal Rumble, there's somebody from the 80s or 90s. A couple of guys.
But the big question is, does Ronda Rousey come back for the Women's Royal Rumble?
Well, that's been a big thing too. Ronda's been great. She just took some time off. She lost at the first ever women's main event for WrestleMania. She had lost it, but she took time off to have a baby. I think she has a family now, and she'll always be welcome back to WWE. Her fan base was huge, so I think she'll be coming back. You know what I mean? I think she'll come back to WWE before she goes back to UFC. That's for sure.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Sure, but they're saying that some of these people are going to come to the Royal Rumble to surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to see it. You're watching Ocean Spit, the little show about big things, folks. Showtime Joe Rossi. Usually we only have a guest on for about a half hour, but me and Joe talking about some great stuff. And let's get the last. We got two sponsors here. One more we got to do, Joe. So just be patient with me.
You got it, Tony. You got it, my man.
Let's not forget our good friends from Portillo's fundraisers. Portillo's Food, of course. They just opened a brand new one in Joliet, whatever how you never pronounce it. It's only a drive-through, no dine-in, but folks, they give you a chance for your non-profit organizations or fundraisers to have the Portillo's. You show what your organization is to Portillo's. Anything you sell that day, you get over $200. You get 20% of the proceeds. Also, they are hiring at all the Portillo's. So, folks, give our son a call, Joe Fank, at 224-636-3646 to get involved with Portillo's, or go to jfank@portillos.com. Let's not forget, folks, last but not also, let's get Laura Ocean Solutions out there. Credit card processing at its finest. You trust my wife, you love her. She'll give you a great deal. You know why? Because she owns the company. So take a look at LauraOceanSolutions.com. And don't forget now, folks, also Patriot Funding Incorporated. They're out of Roselle, Illinois. Dave Antonelli at his finest. Commercial money lending. That's right. Get that money, and you need it now. It's the time to do it. 630-675-4730. Dave is having a little trip up in Nashville. Have a safe trip there, Dave. Also, our people have been asking about Ryan O'Ryan. He is, like I said, he just got his shoulder surgery, and he's doing much better, but he's got to rest. He's got to rest, for people asking. So hopefully we'll see Ryan again in the spring, back with Ocean's, the team here. So we're excited. We miss you there, Ryan, as well. So a lot of great stuff. Showtime Joe Rossi. What do you got coming up? Joe, real fast, with the pandemic and everything that hit, obviously everything was kind of shut down for a while. What do you got coming up? Anything new?
Yes, we do. And I want to give a shout out to your friend and mine, Ron Onesti. We're booked. We're going to do our pay-per-view, Fight Card Entertainment MMA pay-per-view, February 27th, Sunday, at the Des Plaines Theater, Tony. Des Plaines Theater. It's like a hometown show for me. I'm in Park Ridge. I used to live in Des Plaines as well. And all my friends are getting seats and tickets. Go to Fight Card Entertainment Facebook page. You see the link there. Ron Onesti bringing Fight Card to the Des Plaines Theater. And I can't wait to see Ron for that.
What's the date on that?
Sunday, February 27th. Sunday, February 27th. It's a pay-per-view. Fight Card Entertainment MMA pay-per-view. Sunday, February 27th. Go to the Fight Card page and hit the link for the tickets. And then I have a private show. I just talked to Bobby Hitz this morning. Cool. I'm going to be at the University Club tomorrow and Friday for a private boxing event, a 2-day boxing event. And then Bobby, we got big things going with Bobby. Last November, we got with Boxing TV pay-per-view, did awesome. We're at the Dome in Rosemont. I want to say hi, of course, to Mayor Brad Stevens there in Rosemont, and State Representative Stevens, who was we're on your campaign trail for another win, Mr. Mayor, and State Representative Stevens, always a big fan. And Boxing TV, Bobby brought us to bringing all the big championship fights in Rosemont and abroad. Bobby, of course, he books me out too. I've been in Detroit to Motor City Casino, Clip, MMA, and boxing. And that's what I'm looking to do. Fight Card is going to have at least 7 or 8 events this year for the MMAs. Bobby is putting together, I think we'll be back by March, maybe March or April. We're all throughout the year, and we did a bunch of. I love Bobby, man. And he's a great guy. I just talked to him this morning, and like I said, Nilo Soto and Brian Angelo, my broadcasting crew, and not only for Hits Boxing Entertainment, but Fight Card Entertainment, MMA, all my pro wrestling guys. And like I said, Sunday, February 27th, pay-per-view MMA at the Plains Theater. Big shout out to Ronda.
Let me ask you something real fast. Showtime Joe Rousey. If anybody wants tickets, how do they get this on February?
Go to the Fight Card Entertainment.
Slow down for a second.
Oh,
February 27th.
Sunday.
Plains Theater, Ron Onesti, and that's MMA fighting. It's going to be cool. How do they get tickets?
Facebook, guys. Fight Card Entertainment is the Facebook page, and then you'll see all the links either to get the tickets for the show or order the pay-per-view. So
you got it. So that's going to be good at Displays. Speaking of Displays Theater, Tony Ocean's 30th anniversary concert bash is going to happen at the Displays Theater Sunday, May 29th. 30 years in the business. I'm going to have a bunch of my friends, and it's going to have different musicians coming out for many years. Rat Pack, Dream Police, Main Event Band. It's going to be a lot of fun. Produced by Ron Onesti, hosted by, of course, the Nick Sahaj is going to be the band. It's going to be a lot of fun bringing all my musician friends. It's going to be a good time. Showtime, Joe Ross.
Tony, one more thing, if I may, real quick.
Go ahead.
I just want to say I love you, man. I'm proud of you. You come so long. Thank you for being not only a friend, a mentor to me. You always say anything. I'm always looking to do more proper representation, and you're one of those guys who mean it. You took me under your wing years ago, and always having me here today. It's an honor, Tony, and I'll always be friendship. Anything for you, always,
brother.
Man.
You know what? You are doing fantastic at what you do, and it's people like you, our friend Bobby Hitz, and Ron Onesti, and people who fought and fought and fought for what they believe in, for what they love, and their passion, and they can't take that away from us, man.
And one more thing, Tony, thank you. All our fans, without the fans, whether my wrestling fans, boxing, MMA fans, and me that believe in me, there's still a lot of work to do. I'll be 45, and we're going to keep going strong. Also, my inner circle of friends, you know who you are. And I had to say a shout-out last to I'm single. I'm a single dad, but I kind of have an interest in Melissa. So Melissa, hi. I told her I'd say hello to her. And
so you're trying to pick up a chick on the air. Very nice. Very nice.
We're friends, but I'm looking to do more with that. That's a whole other story. But I told her I'd say hi to Melissa. So,
that's another show in general, folks.
But Tony, without you, like I said, you have been a big in the beginning of my career, and I'm honored to be here. And I wish you all success.
You are very good. I got to ask you just a quick question. We're out of time, but give me quick. Coolest guy you ever met in all your professional things?
Well, for wrestling, it's Hogan and Flair. Boxing, Tommy Hitman Hearns. I did a show in Detroit. The Hitman was a special guest. To announce Tommy Hearns in front of his crowd, and a sold-out crowd in Detroit, was incredible as a special guest. I also, you had Mike Redmond on here. I hosted their Christmas show. The Redmonds.
Mike Redmond.
Mike Redmond's a great friend of mine. Hi, Mike and family. Katie.
Mike is the best.
I
hosted
hosted
them. Now listen, since you've been on the show, people are asking, can we give away 2 tickets? Can we give away 2 tickets right now?
To the MMA?
To the MMA at the Displays Theater, February 27th. If you're interested, private message me, and I will get a hold of my good buddy.
I'll let Brian Angelo and Nilo Soto. I'm sure they're watching. We got to give away 2 tickets, guys. So I will let them know. So
2 tickets for our MMA broadcast live pay-per-view at the Displays Theater. Ron Onesti, Showtime Joe Rousey. It's going to be fun, folks. Fight Card Entertainment. Oh, I can't wait, baby. Woo!
Woo!
And we hope that the Nature Boy comes back to AEW and brings back the Horseman Thank you, Showtime Joe. Joe Rousey. You've been the best, buddy. Keep what you're doing, brother. We love you, and please.
Grazie per tutto, Tony. I love you, man. Grazie to and all the everybody there. Like I said, it's been a difficult time for everybody. Stay strong. Never give up. You know, and if you're feeling down, you always have somebody to bring you back up, supporting you. You know, we all got to stick together and get back to it. So.
You got it, brother. So thank you so much. Don't forget, Showtime Joe Ross. You see him on pro wrestling announcing. We see him at MMA, fight card entertainment, hits, boxing promotions, and so much more. Our good buddy Showtime Joe Rousey. Thank you a lot, Joey. Hey, guys, we're going to take you out now. Remember, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com. Give us a call at 847-769-8609. Tonight, Rosario's in Roselle. Tomorrow, River Cafe, Jimmy Marchese, of course, in River Grove. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg. Saturday will be at Capri in Willow Springs. Sunday, Ocean's Rat Pack at the Mount Carmel. Not Mount Carmel, Old Orchard Country Club. And please, give you more information for the Windy City, Florida tour starting March 11th in Florida with my good buddy Greg Reaney. You guys are the best. In the great words of Ringo Starr, peace and love. Be safe. Thank you, April, our producer, my lovely wife, Lauren, family. Love you guys all. Joe, love you, brother.
Love you, Tony. Thank you so much. And to all our fans, God bless.
Nikki, the piano man, take us out. Let's go.
Time to go. It's the end of the show. See you later from Tony O.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Take care, Joe.
You too, Tony. We'll see you soon, my man.
You got it. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Ciao.